Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm Rosie and this is my Rosie Life. In this video, I wanted to do a quick recap of how last semester went and talk about some of the things I did to push through burnout. And so we're just going to jump right into it. And if I'm looking to the side, I'm just looking at my notes just to make sure I talk about everything that I wanted to talk about. So let's just jump right into it. I think just like everybody else, this year has been really rough for a lot of people for a lot of different reasons, and me and my family were no exception. So when the semester started, from the very beginning, I was just never able to find my rhythm, and that was due to burnout. I had finally reached a level of burnout like none other this last semester, and I probably should have recognized it sooner. Like, I probably should have recognized it before the semester started. I probably would have made my load a little lighter instead of going through all of the things that I went through last semester, but I didn't. So the semester started and I was just having a really hard time with it. And one of the things that was going on is that our daughters were going through remote learning. And when the new year started for them, they were required to do a lot more work than the previous year when COVID hit back in March. They didn't require them to really learn anything new. It was just kind of going over what they had already learned that year, just so that they wouldn't forget it. So when the new year started, the assignments were a lot more. They were required to log on during class time. So that made it difficult for me, because instead of like being able to do my work and my studies, I obviously had to help my little one with her. So that was just a whole nother beast to try to navigate through their school. And it was, honestly, it was stressful for us, and I know it's been stressful for the teachers. It just wasn't an ideal situation. So another thing that we had to deal with as a family last semester was my husband being laid off. So in December, he was laid off yet again. And if you follow me on Instagram, you know that he's been laid off before. It's just the nature of the job. With things the way they were, his job decided to do a layoff. So they laid him off, which added like a whole nother level of stress to our family. We are essentially a one income family. We rely mainly on his income. I work seasonally during tax season. I work January through April, except this year I had barely started working when everything got shut down in March, and so the part-time people were let go. So I barely had even worked. So in September, he was laid off, which added a whole nother level of stress. But thankfully, that very next week, I had started my new job. I had already applied and gotten an internship at the company that I am now. So that kind of helped bring in a little bit of money. I mean, it was part-time, but nowhere near what we needed. So he still had to like hustle and try to get clients and jobs through his business. And, you know, of course, it wasn't steady income, but it was something. And so just navigating all that again was very difficult and stressful. Like, it was a lot. And so I really started feeling the pressure of it all and the stress of it all. And you know, everything that comes with starting a new job. So my very first exam for my cost accounting class, I ended up like completely failing. I mean, it was so bad. It was just so bad. And I considered dropping the class. So I went to go talk to my professor, and I told him like all of the stuff that we were going through and where I was at. And I was really grateful that he really encouraged me not to quit right then and there. He was like, just let's wait till you take your second exam. I'll help you with whatever tutoring you need. And after you take your second exam, if you still like, you know, feel like you're not getting it or you're doing bad, then, you know, maybe consider dropping the class. So he was kind enough to tutor me when I needed it. And then I ended up passing my second exam, and it wasn't as bad as the first one. So that helped kind of give me that little boost that I needed to keep pushing. But it was pretty much like that, like the entire semester. It was just like, like I just struggled through the whole thing. And it was more than just a struggle, because every semester has been hard, but I can push through that. Like, I can do what I need to do. I can grind. I can do whatever. What was happening last semester, it was just complete burnout. Like, I was done. And it was the first time since I started school in spring of 2019 that I seriously felt like quitting everything. Like, I just felt like I needed a break from it all. And so I'm going to talk about some of the things that I did to really to push through that, because there was a point in time where I really thought that I just can't push any further. And through all of this, my family, we were going through a family crisis. We had an uncle that had been in the hospital for quite some time, and we weren't sure if he was going to make it. So that was, also something that was adding to just everything. Thankfully, he made it. He's recovering. He's doing well. It was nothing related to COVID, so we were grateful for that. And so I just kind of want to talk about like some of the things that I did to help me push through what I feel was like my hardest semester, but not necessarily because the classes were hard. It was just because I was so done and I was so tired and so exhausted, and I felt like just life kept coming at us one way or another. And so one of the very first things that I did for myself was I gave myself my own break, because the way that my school did this semester, they didn't want us leaving for Thanksgiving break and then coming back and possibly getting sick and then, like passing it around. So they decided that the week before Thanksgiving was going to be our last week, which meant we were going straight through from when the semester started till when it ended. Like, we got no breaks. And normally we'll have like a day or two here and there, and then we have the Thanksgiving break to sort of regroup. We had none of that. And so, like, I was going through all this stuff with no relief in sight, and it really just started to get to me. So I gave myself a break. And what I mean by that is I looked at my assignments and I did the bare minimum. Like, I think I did maybe one or two assignments that were the ones that weighed the heaviest, and everything else I let go for that week. I got zeros and I was completely okay with it. And what that allowed me to do is kind of, it allowed me to rest. It gave me a break. It gave me time to just kind of like catch my breath in the middle of all this. And yes, I got zeros, but the benefit that I got from doing that far outweighed any negative impact that it would have had on my grade, which it really didn't. For me, it was completely worth it at the time and necessary. And I know that for a lot of people that's not okay. Never would they even think of doing something like that. But for me, it benefited me greatly at the time to do that. And this is the first time that I've done that since I started school. So, not too bad. So another thing that I had to do is what I had been doing up until that time, because I was so stressed and I had work. I had so much work on me, and I kept pushing like family time to the side, and it was actually working against me, because what it was doing, it was stressing me out more, not spending time with my family, and then of course the mom guilt that you feel with doing that. And so I had to like realign my priorities and start putting my family time first, and that helped. It helped me to not feel so guilty about not spending time with my family, and it helped me also with my stress level, because for me what brings me joy and what gives me life is spending time with my kids and my husband and just doing family things. And so when I'm not doing that, like, I don't feel like myself. So that helped. I had to just kind of take a step back, realign everything again, and readjust and do what I needed to do so that I can spend the time with my family that I needed to spend, that I normally spend, and that they're used to me spending with them. So that was 2. So third, I started to exercise. I had not been at this point on my treadmill probably all semester. Like, I hadn't done any running or any sort of exercise. So I needed something to release all of that energy, like all of that negative energy. I like to run. So I started doing that again, and then my husband like set up a punching bag for me, which that helped me out a lot too. And that just kind of gave me somewhere to put all this energy or negative energy that I was feeling and all this stress. I was able to like get rid of it through exercising. And then along with that came just me trying to eat a little bit better, because I do what a lot of people do, and when I'm stressed, I don't eat the best. And so I was feeling really tired and sluggish, and so I started paying attention to what I was eating and when I was eating, and so that helped too. It helped me start feeling a little bit better between the exercise and the eating right, all of that. And then I started paying attention to how much I was sleeping. Usually when I go through that where I'm really stressed, I start sleeping less. I start not sleeping enough, and so then I start feeling irritable and things like that. And so I had to, also that was another thing that I had to pay attention to, how much I was sleeping, and make sure that I went to bed at a decent hour and that I got enough sleep so that I can actually feel human when I woke up. And that getting enough sleep helped me out so much. Like it for me, it makes a world of difference when I sleep good and when I don't. So that was another thing. I just pretty much started putting myself as a priority throughout all of this. I needed to just learn to let go of something. One of the things that I completely let go of is, like, if you followed me for a while, you know that I have routines and I have all this stuff set up within my home to help us with the day-to-day stuff so that the house doesn't get so messy, so everybody does what they're supposed to. I let all of that go. Like, I didn't care about the cleaning. I think I pretty much stopped cooking. Everything was either like sandwiches or takeout. Like, I really just didn't care at that point, or I couldn't. I needed to do what I needed to do just to get through it, because I was in such a bad space where I wanted to quit, but I knew that I couldn't. It wouldn't have benefited me in any way had I quit. So I had to do at that point what I needed to do, and so it was letting go of all of that stuff. I just did the bare minimum, like, of course, make sure we have clothes every week and things like that, But I didn't care if the house was completely picked up every single day, and I was okay with that because I knew it was only going to be for a short amount of time. The benefits far outweighed me having maybe a messy house for a few weeks or whatever. So that was another thing that I did. And then another thing that I like to do when I'm feeling kind of that way is I follow a lot of, like, in my circle of like friends and family, I don't have anybody who is going through what I'm going through or doing what I'm doing. Like, most of my friends, they got their degrees already when they were younger, before they had kids and stuff like that. Like, I don't think there's anybody in my life right now that is trying to get a degree while they have young kids and all of that. So I don't have anybody to talk to about the stresses that I'm going through. Nobody really can relate or understand. Of course they can listen, but that's about it. So what I like to do, I like to follow on social media. I like to follow like other moms or join other groups where it's other moms like me in the same situation trying to do the same thing, it just kind of, it motivates me to hear their stories and see how they're doing it and things like that. I also like to follow like a lot of people that are 10 or 20 steps ahead of me. So my ultimate goal is to become a CPA or get my CPA. And so I follow like a lot of moms who currently right now are in the process of doing that, and they show like when they study and how they study and all of that. And so for me it's very motivating because I know that I soon will be there, and if they can do it, I can do it. So I kind of draw motivation from them, and it pushes me to keep going because that's the end result. That's you'll get there soon enough. And that helps me out tremendously. And then also through all of this, my husband was amazing. Like when I was wanting to quit for like the first time since all of this started, he was quick to remind me of why I was doing what I was doing, and that he's there for me, and whatever I needed. But he really encouraged me to keep going. Like, you can do this, you just got a little bit, you got to just push a little bit harder. And like, I feel like I'm pretty self-driven and motivated, but I am human, and I just got completely overloaded. Like I said, I reached a burnout between school, family life, and the family crisis that we were going through. It just kind of all got to be too much, and at that point, like, I just wanted a break from it all. But in reality, I knew deep down that I wouldn't quit. And so I also like talked to myself to just try to get myself to like take a step back, because I'm the kind of person that when I'm going through something, I need to take a step back and look at the whole picture so that I can analyze everything and analyze everything and just see what's happening and why I'm having such a hard time with it. So at that point where I was like, oh my god, like, I just need a break, I want to just quit everything, I was like, but do you really? Because you're still going to have to take these classes to graduate, and if you quit now, like, all you're doing is prolonging your graduation date. And if you can just push a little bit harder, like, you'll be done with these classes, you'll never have to see them again. So I sort of talked to myself like that, to kind of get me to see like the big picture, or just you just need to keep going a little bit longer. And all of that like helped me get through that semester. And of course, like, all of those things that I did to help like keep pushing me so that I wouldn't quit, like, it obviously helped, because here I am, the semester is over, I passed all my classes. Cost accounting, I barely passed it, but nonetheless I passed it, and I am totally okay with that, because the alternative was going to be me retaking the class, and that was not a class that I wanted to retake. So I'm okay with taking a C in the class. I ended up with an A, 2 B's, and a C this semester, and I feel like that's pretty darn good, and I really do feel good about myself even with that C, because considering everything that I was dealing with and everything that I was pushing through, I think I ended the semester on a good note. So I'm okay with that. I'm proud of that, and we're just going to keep pushing. Of course, moving forward, I am going to have to readjust and do some things differently so that I don't feel as overwhelmed as I did this last semester. And then I'm also getting like 5 weeks off, so all of that is going to help. I'm still working part-time, and we were given the opportunity to work full-time, but I didn't take it because I knew that I needed this break. Like, I need as much rest and as much of a break as I can get before I start the new semester, so that I can start off okay. So that's just some of the things that I went through. And then like, it's been a hard year, like, from beginning to end. And I know it's been a hard year for everybody. And then when this semester ended, just when I was like starting to, like a week and a half after the semester ended, and I was like thinking that, okay, I can relax now, I can and just chill and take it easy. We had a loss in the family that completely devastated our family. It was a shock to us all, and we're still trying to process it all. It's been hard to go through this and navigate a loss through this pandemic. My family is a very large family, and we're a very close family. And so we're the type of family that when things like this happen, we're there 110%. Trying to navigate all this through a pandemic, where you can barely even get together. It's been very difficult, but what it's done for me is it's forced me to sort of reflect on everything that I'm doing, and that's just kind of like the reality of what life has been for me and my family. One of the reasons why I started this channel is to document my journey to becoming a CPA, and with all of the ups and downs, the good, the bad, and the ugly. And unfortunately right now we're going through some pretty heavy, like, difficult things, but we're, like I said, we're a big family, we're a close family, and we're also a very strong family. So we'll get through this. However that looks, we'll get through it. And I did want to touch on that or talk about that in this video because it is a part of what is happening in my life and in this whole process and in my journey, and things that affect me mentally and emotionally and physically and all of that. But it's part of life, and life keeps happening. It doesn't stop because you lose a loved one, and just navigating all that and getting through all that, it's a challenge. So I am going to be making a video on some of the changes or some of the things that I plan on doing for myself for next semester. After this semester that just passed, I only have one more year of school left, and I am scheduled to graduate December of 2021. That is the goal. So I know that this last year is going to come and go really fast, and so I'm looking forward to that. So anyway, that's my update on my semester, and I thank you guys for watching, and don't forget to hit the like button. If you haven't already subscribed to my channel, please hit the subscribe button and also the notification bell so you can get notifications of when I upload new videos. Again, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys on the next one.